Riddler 2 World Cup Professional Division action, and we are here today in the 2023 Yuri's Revenge Grand Finals. And you guys know I'm always excited, but I mean this literally when I say this is one of the greatest matches I have ever seen in my entire life. We got Marco, the final boss, aka the GOAT, aka the greatest player to ever do it, dominating at the top level for over a decade. But today he's facing off against Legend, the God of Thunder, known as one of the best Yuri players, but really known as one of the best Yuri killers in the world. And it's going to matter because these guys today are going to be playing all three of the different factions here in our Yuri's Revenge game mode. As a reminder, we have already had two other game modes in the Grand Finals for World Cup. We had regular Riddler 2 and Blitz. Be sure to check those videos out if you missed them. But what's important to note here is that Legend and Marco lost out of those game modes. So if they want a World Cup crown, this is their last chance. Let's get right into it. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to Trax NYC. Their $1,000 sponsorship helped me run this tournament. I truly appreciate you guys and all of the support along the way. We've had a great 2023. We're going to have an awesome 2024. RA to the moon, boys.
Yeah. Ivor, that is so awesome. When you said that too, I was looking at the tournament finals, the results and everything, and it's pretty cool that everybody, like the S-class players, we have like 5 solidified S-class players, and each one's kind of winning their own game type. And I've seen in the past where it's like Marco just wins everything, right? Riddler 2, Yuri, Blitz, Kian has won like everything, and now it's kind of like spread out. Like the skill set up there is pretty tight.
Yeah, it's kind of fun in that way. Yeah, we have had times where it's kind of like for a while there, Marco was just kind of sweeping everything, and it is kind of fun that it's like, and it makes sense. Like Kian, I think Kian is the #1 Blitz player right now, and I think that I think Quas is the #1 regular Riddler too. And Yuri's Revenge, we shall see. Ed, what are you thinking about this one, Legend or Marco? Who's taking it home?
We shall see indeed. Yeah, man. Legend is the Yuri killer. They know him as the Yuri killer, so I want to say Legend takes this series, but I mean, barely, if he does.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, and these so after these first 2 points, we play an Allied Soviet swap in the first 2, and then we're over to Yuri points, and that's where it gets interesting. Legend, a strong Yuri player, but a strong Yuri killer as well. Marco, of course, strong with Yuri also, but I think Legend could be a little bit more comfortable with those Yuri matchups. So we'll see here. I think it's really important for Marco to get, well, at least 1 win here, Allied versus Soviet. But if Marco could get 2 wins to start things off, does get that War Factory Navy SEAL hit from Legend, very nice. War Factory rebuilt from Marco, still on 2. But Battle App Tech now over to Legend, guys. Regular Yuri's Revenge, I know I say it every time, but there's always some new people in here. So compared to regular Red Alert 2, you see a lot of just tier 1 tanks, Grizzlies and Rhinos in regular Red Alert 2. Yuri's Revenge, the tanks build slower. The games go longer, and that allows players to tech up more. Of course, also you see more shenanigans with Navy SEALs, engineers, spies, stuff like that. Spy coming now for Legend. What do we see, Ed? What do we know?
Yeah, Marco on 3 War Factory is definitely the good for Legend to be trying to spy, trying to seal, trying to keep Marco's production down here, because before you know it, he's going to have a bunch of tanks here, and you know how hard that can be. However, we are playing Yuri's Revenge, and BFs are a great counter to Rhinos, especially like Rhino numbers. They can just run away. One BF can take out like a whole army if you don't use them right.
Yeah, the BF's certainly viable. We've seen more players sprinkling those in at the top level, particularly also with a Navy SEAL in them to help counter Deso bombs, especially if you're going to go mask Mirages. But it's critical here. I mean, look at, you know, that Navy SEAL hit from Legend. That means Marco has 3 instead of 4 War Factories right now. So again, like you said, every little thing he can do. The Spy's on his way. No, we're not going to make it. Spy does not get it. Kind of just threw that Spy. Didn't really babysit that very well.
Yeah, he's really forcing that Spy to go in. He was keeping Marco busy, a little preoccupied there. Mirage tanks on the top side. We're trying to look for something, but Marco, we talked about it yesterday. He was kind of falling asleep a little bit behind the wheel, right? Quas was just doing too much, probably. Right here, he's on his toes. He sees everything. He has 3-way splits, and he's literally on every angle right now, just covering everything.
Yep.
He has a plan. He's
dialed in.
He's not looking for offensive. Yeah, he's just sitting back right now, building up.
Dialed in, countering Legends shenanigans, and the Desolators are out now. He's got some backside sentry guns, some bunkers now. 4 War Factories. Yeah, and so any of you guys who missed it yesterday, Marco versus Quas. We have another IFV. I'm not sure. Did you see what's in the one top right?
I didn't see what went inside, no.
Okay, now the Harrier out. I love when the Harrier enters in once the Desolators come in. I think it's such a fun little rock, paper, scissors element. The Harrier to disrupt the Desolators, disrupt the flak tracks can be really annoying for someone who's trying to gear up Deso bombs. Anyway, guys, any of you who missed it yesterday, Quas versus Marco, regular Red Alert 2 finals. Marco didn't lose. Quas didn't win. Marco didn't get crushed. Marco got dismantled, systematically dismantled from the top down. Quas just absolutely put on a clinic masterclass in the game yesterday, really proved his trajectory, where he's been and where he's planning on going. And I think Marco might have felt that, and you got to think Marco woke up this morning thinking, all right, I got to come to play. Desolator's going down. BF putting out the Desolators, trying to open things out for the Mirages. Does Legend have the juice here? What do we think?
Yeah, that BF, like you talked about, just easy counter through all of these Desolators here. He's still looking for that IFE, looking for an opening, trying to make some distractions here and there, trying to get some. Oh, it is a spy. Marco does take care of it, and he also takes care of the BF at the very same time. So yeah, Marco on it, man. Legend though, he's just looking for room here. Those are like little side tricks, you can say, behind his main force, because he has a lot of Mirage tanks. He's looking for an extra opening, but these Mirage tanks by themselves can do so much damage.
Oh, I thought that Desolator.
Be careful here.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And so you see Legend peeling off a single Mirage tank. Now, that Mirage tank will die, but a single Mirage tank peeled off and microed like that. Oh, Marco.
Ooh, he goes straight in.
Left side gets absolutely wrecked. And you saw that forward barracks there from Marco to get the Desolators right there, so he doesn't have to walk him over. Very nice move, and Legend pays a toll, big toll there, losing that left side split.
Yeah, and Chronosphere is ready. Marco needs to start preparing himself. What is he going to do? Three BFs are ready. Marco, instead of going back, playing defensively on this Chrono, he says, no, I'm going down to your base. Let's see what you do with your Chrono with me and your base.
And a scary dunk potential on this map. Marco needs to be careful. If he gets his tanks in a bundle, Legend will be happy to dunk 9 of those tanks in the lake. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that here. Tons of Desolators. This is a great position for Marco. I'm surprised to not see Legend using that Chronosphere. MCV goes down, and look at the Desolators zoning him out. Now the BF comes forward to try to clean out those, and now the Rhinos take out the BF. And what a game of back and forth, blow for blow, as the Desolators continue to zone out. The Rhinos have free reign on the backside of the base. Mirage is trying to counterpunch something. But
if only Allied had like some air unit, right, to take care of those Desolators, like Rocketeers.
yeah. The Mirages continue. Oh yeah, the Rocketeers. Yeah, he could be using the Rocketeers. Yeah, you're right. That would have been a good counter. No flag tracks in this group. They are out now, but the Desolators pushing the Mirage tanks to the moon, and he does get a nice dunk there. I mean, I think he dunked 6-7 Rhinos with that Chronosphere, but it doesn't matter. We've seen Marco's ability to march Desolators, not even using a Deso Bomb, just marching them on foot, and literally Legend doesn't even get a chance to defend himself.
Yeah, that has to be like the easiest push as a Soviet player that you could possibly imagine, right? Like you just 5 Desos, put them in front of your Rhinos, and then just push forward slowly with them gradually. Like what took Legend so long to counter that? Anyways, as I say this, he still has a bunch of Mirage tanks. He lost half his base, but a bunch of Mirage tanks here. He needs to be careful not to run into another Desolator. 5 Desolators, 6, 7, 8 Desolators coming out of one barracks. Marco is spamming them, but they're coming out of probably from the wrong barracks here.
Oh, and those Mirages. Side. Oh, those Mirages got all befuddled. They were trying to move, so they weren't shooting there for that second. And now the Rockies, again, the Rockies coming late. And you're absolutely right, Ed. I'm not sure what Legend, he had a few tricks up his sleeve. The Rocketeers could have been used. There was no anti-air in the group. I think he had some Harriers out early. He had that plan, but forgot about it. Rocketeers now uncontested, takes a refinery. Probably questionable. Maybe could have tried to take a war factory or a barracks or something, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, Legend just looking a little bit confused as to what Desolators are for a moment there during that attack.
Yeah, he did get a little bit of value. I'm not sure if you saw that. He sent a couple of Mirage tanks. Meanwhile, Marco was all over Legend's base, so he did snipe off a lot of miners from Marco. But Marco, I mean, look at how many miners he still has. Regardless, I'm pretty sure he killed like 5 of them.
Yeah, I did see that backside split. I didn't see the value he got. Okay, so he did get some miners, but yeah, I mean, now he's just kind of trying to turn shit into gold here. I mean, Marco's still up in MCV. Money in the bank, war factories, and Desolators. So Legend's not going to find anything here. But yeah, like you talked about making mistakes. It was interesting after the Quas Marco regular Red Alert 2 finals yesterday. We asked Quas in the interview, post-game interview, we said, what makes Woody, like why is Woody so good? I mean, if you guys don't know, Woody's a player out of China who's beaten everyone the last couple years. He dismantles everyone at the top level. And it was interesting hearing Quas say, and it's so tempting to watch people watch Woody. You're like, oh, he does these crazy things, or he has crazy micro, or he's so fast. And Quas was like, he doesn't make mistakes. When you're playing Woody,
Yeah.
he will not make mistakes. And you kind of feel that. I feel like when you're playing Red Alert 2, it feels like you're in a tug of war and you're just trying, you're like, okay, I'm down a couple feet now, but if he slips up for a second, I can recover that. And when you're playing a player that does not make mistakes, it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's why I have personally the game type that I have. And it's because, like we heard from Quas as well, like he's like, yeah, I got smoked on Yuri's Revenge. So I went to Rambo and practiced a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then you asked them, oh, what makes these players so good? It's their macro, They know how to build, they know so well. Well, they practice these builds over and over on these maps. I don't have the time to practice these builds. So my goal is to do something to make them switch up their build that they practice so long, right? So I have to be wacky, like throw them a curveball so that they're like, oh shit, wait, I can't go second war because he's already attacking me. Like, well, this throws me off. That's my imagination, at least, that's kind of what my goal is. So
yeah, when you're a player, I think that makes perfect sense. Yeah, when you're a player that doesn't have the reps, when you can't get the reps on the macro end, do something to shake and bake, throw them off, try to confuse them a little bit. Legend in now with a couple rhinos and some flags, and all of these garrisons from Marco, a little bit annoying, kind of chipping away at this string of single units of Legend. So he's going to try to put some pressure on the miners with the rhinos. He does have an engineer in this flak as well. Let's see what he can get done here.
Two rhinos.
Oh, and the rhinos protecting the flag track. Ooh, nice pillbox micro there from Marco.
Yeah, he does kill or forces the cell on the barracks, but not enough value there. Three pillboxes forced out as well. Grizzlies are out on the field. I'm pretty sure he can't. Oh, he's gonna lose his MCV here. He needs to be quick.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Legend's gonna need some sentry guns out. Marco looking to counterpunch here. Yeah, Marco just, and the thing I think with Legend's shenanigans in Yuri's Revenge, the engineers, the Navy SEALs, the spies, the thing is, it's really predictable at this point. I think that's kind of the problem with it. Legend should be able to hold this, another sentry gun out. But I think that's the problem for, I think Marco knows. Marco's like, all right, come down here, try your shenanigans, I'll build some sentries, and then, luckily there, Marco's counterpunch doesn't get any value for Legend, but, I mean, you saw Marco, even these couple GIs, the GIs actually, I think, are what countered the engineer. I'm not sure if Marco even had to micro the pillbox. Chiz with the follow, Hamp with the follow, Nick with the follow, Az with the follow, XY, Nova. Thanks for the follows, guys. Thanks for the subs, Nick and Nova. Thanks for the subs, guys. Appreciate the support in the chat here in the World Cup. All right, Ed, what do we know?
As I was talking about, like doing not necessarily shenanigans, but changing it up. This map, it got kind of boring for a while. It was like one of the first maps that played in show matches, and everybody started building the same. After we kind of saw what Woody would do, and then Marco would do, like everybody just kind of copied that, and it was just like this static build order. Everybody's just anyways, Legend starting off with like a completely wacky little build. He sent out 2 rhinos downfield immediately, canceled the miners, then went miners. Anyways, changing it up completely, throwing a little curveball. Marco is ready for this though. He has a spy ready. He has mirage tanks here to counter these rhino tanks. Legend did try another engineer as well. Got sniped. That flag got sniped though. Engineer naked. We're walking around in the battlefield. He needs to be careful.
Running around with this briefcase. Now using this, he's going to use this paradrop to kind of cut off these rhinos from retreating. Now Mirage is in Marco's base, not where Legend wants to be. And once again, the ally player comfortably over to tech. Now Mirage is out very early here. Oh, those rhinos does take the Rockies. He's got the Harrier and a couple of the GIs pillboxes, so Marco will be able to hold this. Oh, Legend might get this battle lab.
They both fell off at the same time. I thought he was going to lose it too, but no. Marcos does protect his battle lab.
And once again, Legend not finding much value. But Legend with nice map control here. These gems in the middle here. He gets to these gems pretty early. I like that for Legend. He's on those gems early. He's got map control. See what he can make happen here. But Marco over to tech now. Legend going to have to get over to Death Slayers, try to make something happen. As we saw in that last game, any amount of mirages by countered with the right Deso can swing a game here. But Marco doing a good job of supporting these mirages already with Rocketeers. Let's see what Legend does here.
Oh, Marco spies the power plant. I mean, it's good. It's gonna put
he
Legend
was droned.
low power.
I think he got droned, so I think that's why he did something quick. He just grabbed what he could. So he did. You guys see bottom right here. Yeah, he put Legend low power. I guess it's probably the least interesting, least useful building to spy. But I mean, I think he was droned, so it's like grab whatever you can.
Yeah. If you have if Legend had super weapons, of course it kind of
Yeah.
plays a little bit more. But right now, there's nothing in the field really that affects the timer besides just slower production for just a minute.
Nice use of that
No
Desolator
big
in the middle
deal.
does clean out some GIs from Marco here. And I think, for Legend as the Soviet player with this center position, he really wants to be able to keep multiple lanes open so he can kind of dangle and try to put pressure multiple ways. So using the Desolators to get those GIs out of there. Prism Tower now. Marco letting Legend come to him. Well, one good Deso Bomb. Marco doesn't have BFs here. Doesn't have much counter for these Desolators, actually.
No, he doesn't. And we've seen Legend be the aggressor in both games, Allied or Soviet. He's kind of the one pushing toward Marco. Marco kind of sitting back until he's ready. Then he'll push out. Oh, Spy comes in, and Spy does get into the War Factory there.
And
Ooh.
Marco, like a coiled serpent right now, he's so comfortable sitting here and just deflecting Legend's blows like Neo in the Matrix with one hand. And it's like, well, Marco, what's your offensive move? Boom, Spy. Spy in is absolutely devastating. And so Legend just blows the Desolators on his own Rhinos. Marco skirts off.
Yeah, Marco playing that fantastic, nice micro there. And we talked about it last game, right? With his Mirage tanks. He leaves them in like little separate groups. He backed a few Mirage tanks back and left a few there. Legend decided to deploy on just that small group of Mirage tanks, including his own tanks. Huge blow for Legend there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can go Broken Arrow, I mean, if all your Rhinos and all his Mirages are in the same spot, and you can Broken Arrow, blow it on your own and his, of course, Rhinos and Mirages, that's a good move. But in that case, it's not really Broken Arrow if you just bomb yourself. Although I use Broken Arrow, everyone says that's the code for the president losing a nuke briefcase. But in the movie We Were Soldiers, it's when you call an airstrike on your own position. Anyway, we'll get into that later, Ed. Okay, is Legend going to find any offensive value here? I feel like Marco is just so comfortable right now.
If Legend is to get any value, in my opinion, here, he did eat all the gems in the middle. He is sustaining just fine. He's on 7K. He does have 5 war factories, but he needs to swap out to super weapons, in my opinion, here. Look at Marco's base. He has him Prism Towers everywhere. Mirage tanks just defending everywhere. BFs are starting to come out. Yeah, Battle Lab for Legend now. So yeah, definitely the right move here.
Let's get it on.
Huge push here from Legend on the top side.
And Marco daring him. We've seen Marco do this Matador move here where you're kind of like, do it, dude. You want my MCV? Do it. And Marco baiting Legend a little bit. Legend does not take the bait. Switches bottom side. Marco a bit slow. Siege Chopper's in now for Legend. Legend, here we go off to the races. No Deso support in that group top side. Siege Choppers bottom side get absolutely dismantled. But hey, A+ for creativity. Once again, Legend going home without much offensive value here.
Yeah, it does force Marco to make a couple of IFVs, and actually it might counter Legend even harder than he thinks, because these things they can get promoted easily. If he goes, he can probably even snipe the battle lab from Legend there. Those things are fast. Anyways, huge battle in the middle now.
Ooh, and just standing and gunning, rough IC. Does get an elite in it. Backside split for AFK from Marco. A really pretty rough IC here. Legend kind of questions himself for a second, decides to take a bite. He's going to go out the power plants. You can see Legend just a little bit confused about what he's doing here. Doesn't like it, doesn't love it, but feels like he needs to get something done. Ooh, gonna hop topside. Might be able to grab the MCV. Okay. And where is Marco? Oh, Marco in Legend's base. I was like, where is Marco right now? Marco in Legend's base. And the force shield comes. The force shield comes. That's why Marco wasn't worried. I always forget. The Yuri's Revenge Riddler 2, I really forget about that. BF and a couple Mirages hunting on the backside still. Legend's army still causing work on the right side here. Does go down.
Marco has units everywhere. Ooh. Yeah, Marco uses the get out of jail free card there.
IC snipes out the IC. I think especially with, I feel like there's been kind of a rise of players playing different factions, particularly on my stream. I force them to, obviously, but yeah, I think we've kind of seen that a little bit, and we've seen these guys get comfortable. And it went from, there was a while where these players would resist these kind of tournaments and matches when I would propose them. Marco and Legend were always pretty open-minded, but players like Quas and Kian, some of those other guys, they were very like, I'm playing Soviet, or I'm not playing Yuri. I mean, and now I think it's kind of these players have gotten more comfortable, and I think because of that, they're like, okay, they know they play in quick match, they play the different factions, and it's been really fun to see because I think the game has a lot more to offer when we mix things up like this. So
let's get it on.
but the center is kind of the thing that you kind of fight for, and Marco's already there. Like, he's gonna take the entire center here.
Yeah, fully established in the center and using his brutes. And a lot of times you see the Yuri players grind their brutes for free money. Marco using them as fodder, and they work well. All right, so let's see what he can get done here. He ICs the drones. He's picking off some masterminds. Does take quite a few masterminds there. Now needs to try to buy himself some time. Discs to counter here. Does he have time to hold up and take some miners? Let's see. Oh, he charges the one mastermind. Now it's just brutes left. Brutes can be a bit annoying here. Brutes,
Yeah, brutes are so strong against rhinos, and especially in that number of brutes there. Discs are more than enough here to push Legend all the way back, and that was Legend's full army there. All of his rhinos are being taken out now. Flax need to be spammed. Flax are one of those units that kind of counter a lot of Yuri units, right? They counter and force masterminds to overload, but again, how can you overload a mastermind when you have a grinder right next door?
Well, that's going to be the problem here, yeah. And the Flax now to counter the discs as well. Wish he would have had the Flax in that last engagement. He did a good job setting himself up on that attack with those drones, but then just wasn't able to really find any value on the backside. And those flak tracks, he had to have some flak tracks. Mastermind hops in. That Mastermind is overloaded. Let's see here. Mastermind going to pop. But man, those brutes getting so much value for Marco. God, you see a game like this, you're like, why would you ever grind the brutes? Brutes are awesome.
Yeah, Nuke coming out. Looks like he's gonna go for the battle lab here. Marco hears it and force shields it. Does lose a couple of war factories there, I think.
Factories? Okay.
So not too bad. Oh, whoa. He went, oh, whoa, that forced him to go low power there for a second as well.
Yeah, Force Shield puts his power down, so that GAT's down. It's kind of interesting. The primary Yuri defensive structure, unlike a Sentry or a Pillbox, does take power. It's like the one thing the developers were like, let's try to give Yuri one thing that's worse than the other factions. Yeah, there. And and these masterminds on the backside, pretty good drone hit. Both those masterminds on the backside about to pop. Psychic Tower comes out, trying to target the power instead of the Psychic Tower. Doesn't get it low power, then takes the Psychic Tower. Mastermind now, and Legend doing a pretty good job here. This is a tough fight, and Legend's getting the job done.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Legend's doing a great job in 1/8 of Marco's base.
Well, that's how you eat an elephant, man, and that's why these games, and you combine the Force Shield into this, a Yuri game with a Force Shield, I cannot believe what it takes. And the funny thing is, you watch games like this, it can happen. The Soviet player, IC by IC, nuke by nuke, can slowly eat the Yuri elephant. But where the fuck did this Kirov come from? I swear I did not see that Kirov.
Yeah. Oh, that Kirov has been on a long mission.
Oh, did it come around the backside?
I remember seeing it in front of Legend's base, right by his war factory, and then I looked away, and now it's there.
Nice.
I'm not sure how I got there, but great value here.
Damn, that took out his battle lab. Battle lab. Okay. Hey, that's how you eat an elephant, boys. Bite by bite. All right, Legend. All right, Yuri Killer. I see you. Does slow down his tech, presumably. Battle lab down. Marco on 6K, so plenty of money to rebuild. But Legend, I mean, getting something. And now the V3 rockets. Okay. It'd be nice. It'd be great to grab this war factory. I'd love that for Legend.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice here. Legend needs a little bit more value here because he is running out of ore. He has one little batch of ore here in the center.
Oh, no Force Shield. No Force Shield for this nuke, though. He's going to get a couple. Another IC. Legend's got this, Ed. You're right, though. And just in time, because he doesn't have much more money to support these efforts. Oh, that Psychic Tower. Devastating. Oh.
And the nuke coming in.
Yep, 2-pack, 2 more war factories and a power plant down. And Legend allows himself to get on this ore patch by claiming back this like 10 square feet of land, which is nice. Marco over to Lashers, and the Yuri Killer flexing here. Marco's still not over to Battle Lab tech. So yeah, that lack of Force Shield is huge. Oh no, now Battle Lab out.
Yeah, Marco's still on AK here. He's still spamming Lashers, which are arguably worse than Grizzlies. But now with the Battle Lab, it's going to start making masterminds. He needs these masterminds to keep Legend back. And again, we talk about how just eating up that whole center is such a huge thing in this particular match here.
Yeah.
He still has a lot of ore still, and he's on AK. Meanwhile, Legend forced to long distance mine right now.
Yeah,
How much longer can he hold?
Yeah, you're right. Legend on dirt, and that really could be what determines this game. He's now gonna have to long distance mine bottom side. And wow, it's what the fuck was that I see? Oh, he got a couple drones. Okay. Yeah, and I think, and that's why I think playing Yuri for me, I commentate it so much less. I watch it so much less. I don't play it personally. But it's so crazy because you're like, oh, surely that move he just did will be the end. It's like, no, no, no. The show goes on. The show goes on, and that's just how it is in these Yuri games. It's just absolutely exhausting on both players' ends. And to be a Soviet player trying to take down this Yuri monster, and for all of Legend's efforts, the fact that he could still very likely lose this game, I think is really frustrating.
Yeah, it's demoralizing. I mean,
Yeah.
I did this right, I did this right, I did that right, I did that, I lose. Like, what? What do I do?
You have to, yeah, it's like, yeah, I did 5 things right. You need to do 5 more things right and not make any mistakes.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, we switch factions, so unfair for one, unfair for all. If Yuri is potentially OP, which honestly at the top level, we see Soviet beat Yuri, we see Yuri beat Soviet, but in this particular tournament, of course, these guys, you know, switching back and forth here. But Legend could really use a win here. Again, this was kind of supposed to be one of his favored matchups, and he's about to go down 3-0 if he loses this. So pretty tough comeback if he loses this one. Big drone hit bottom side.
And you can see how strong these super weapons for Soviets are against Yuri. They're much needed. I mean, if you didn't have super weapons, there's literally nothing you can do.
No game
so nuke after nuke, IC after IC.
Doesn't
huge
force shield.
Value.
Doesn't force shield. Nice. Gets the battle lab. Gets a war factory. Legend. Whew, this is close, right? I mean, you look at this. It's so tempting to be like, surely Legend's way ahead, but you're right. I mean, a couple masterminds, a couple of anything, but now the miners are going down for Marco. I feel like that could be the beginning of the end.
Yeah, once Marco started losing his miners, then and he never really was like he never really took offense, right? Like he killed all of Legend's army at one point on the bottom right side of the map, but he never really went toward Legend's base. He kind of stretched toward it, but never sent his unis out there, right?
Yeah, to be perfectly fair in that game, if that last game was the match point, Marco could have tried to stay in that game and been annoying, and with Legend being out of money, Marco could have tried to keep scrapping there. But I guess once he ate that nuke and lost all those miners, anyway. But man, move by move by move, and it was so crazy how many great moves it took from Legend to actually clinch up that victory. But Legend took it home. He needed that one, and now it's Legend's turn to play Yuri.
Let's get it on.
Legend, of course, is really good, and Andy to me, just the fact that he plays the game, he knows it inside and out, right? Like he knows all the little tricks, and I think that's what makes him, in my opinion, like one of the better ones. But Gaoki's Rise Nether. Oh,
here we go,
Legend,
and
bringing it in.
We've seen this from Legend many times versus Marco, and a Yuri clone in the group. So the bunker, he's got the bunker out. The Desolator goes down, the bunkered Gat, he's magging the miner, and this is very, very annoying. Power plant now. The conscripts to try to overwhelm if a psychic tower comes out, but very nice juggle here. And Legend's like, here, someone hold my cigarette. I got to put up another point. This is the World Cup, boys.
Yeah, and Legend not doing a great job microing here. This is what I'm talking about. Andy would have handled that immediately or so well. That those Connies were there to hit the mags. Mags can't hit Connies. Gats are there to counter the Connies. The fact that he had 2 Gats and that there's a Connie that survived that push means he didn't micro that well. Those Connies literally killed those Mags. Those Mags could have literally taken care of those Rhinos, even dropped them in the Gat that's stayed there. But again, lack of micro, and Andy's so good at micro. Anyways. Psychic Tower comes out.
Psychic Tower comes. He's going to need another one. And that Psychic Tower, the way he built it on the edge to try to grab the tanks instead of the conscripts, I like the idea, but you're right. Everything Legend did there, he would have had to do it a bit faster, and now his MCV is going down. I liked the idea. Certainly. But you're right. He had the right ingredients, didn't quite prepare the victory cake in the right order. Has the battle lab, has the war factory, but these kind of long, I mean, these Yuri Soviet long games, Marco can pull back, have a picnic now, and hard for Legend to stay in this.
Yeah, I mean, this is Yuri's revenge. Marco's still going to have to take his time and play this Smart, slowly, probably. Legend has a grinder, so technically he could rebuild his MCV. He's going to be
Oh,
super far behind. But he can get back into this.
I forget the grinder works like that. Yeah, and so now conscripts out to deal with the mastermind. A mastermind is the one thing that could swing this. Oh, and the rhinos. Oh, big group of rhinos hunting bottom side. God, it seems like a big army here of these rhinos. So rhinos hunting does Legend gonna? Oh, and here we. Yuri Prime on the backside, boys. Yuri Prime and Marco's out. Marco with no War Factory, no MCV. Marco, but the rhinos on the backside. He needs masterminds to defend now.
He has an MCV now. He can get some psychic towers. He has a Yuri clone out there in the field.
Let's fucking go. Oh, you love to see it. And the Yuri clone, the single Yuri clone, micros
the at level 3. Oh, he didn't grind it in time, but yeah, either way, Marco is out.
The Yuri clones to hold the line. And Legend says, what MCV? Oh my front MCV, my first MCV? You thought I wanted that? Marco's calling in the troops, boys. The farmers from the field are on the march, armed with pitchforks, miners and conscripts. Marco's final push, Legend's final stand, gearing up the bunkers. Marco's got a lot here.
This is not a easy to defend here. Marco has a lot of miners, a lot of connies. He has the right ingredients here for everything he needs right here.
Legend's pulling his miners back to defend.
He's gonna go for the power. Power first, right?
Power's gonna go down. So miner wars on the bottom side. Legends low power and dead broke. And
using the miners to snipe the battle lab.
Oh my god, the miners sniped the battle lab. That's amazing. The miners doing work. Slave miners versus war miners. Marco edging.
The only thing holding them back is that mastermind.
That one mastermind, yeah, into the conscript fodder. But if he finds a little gap in the armor here. MCV naked, he's still low power. He's running with the MCV. He edges. The mastermind pops. He tries to grind. Now just that elite gat in that bunker doing work, but it's so many conscripts. A mag out to juggle the rhinos. The elite rhino goes down. Legend still has his MCV.
Yeah,
War
if
Factory.
he doesn't kill that MCV, then it's GG.
He holds the MCV. Boris is out. There's a Boris. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. The Gats get out of the bunkers, clean up the conscripts, and oh my god, the MCV survives on one tick. If the MCV would have...
Yeah, if the MCV would have gone down there, oh my god, it would have been like 1 or 2 tank shots left. The fact that mag came out and then gravitated the level 3 and dropped it on his Connie and just died, literally just that secured the win right there.
Dry heat, boys. Dry heat now for point number 5. This is best of 7. So not match point here. Nice small map like this. Yuri versus Soviet. So now Marco with Yuri here. Legend with Soviet. So dry heat here is the Soviet player, Ed. You gotta open conscripts, right? You gotta conscript rush. I mean, it's like it's bona fide, right? Or what do you think?
Yeah, most people end up doing that. It's pretty tough to hold, even if you know it's coming. Even if you scout and see all these connies coming, it's pretty tough to hold. I feel like it's one of those meta things. Like always, you should. I feel like on this map, you get good value, and you're not going to go broke because you have gems and you have 2 starting oils, right? And you don't even have to cap them; they're already pre-capped. So might as well use that money instead of it just sitting in your bank. Get those connies out, even for a little pressure, offensive value. Look for something, you know.
Yeah, some initiates now to counter, but the bundle of conscripts are out. Yeah, you do start with 2 corner oils on this map, but certainly close quarter combat. Oh, I think Legend tried to hoof an engineer top right, and Marco sent 1 initiate out to counter it. And again, that's what I'm talking about with, I feel like Legend getting a little bit too predictable with some of his shenanigans. You know what I mean? Like, literally, Marco knew to send 1. I think Legend already sent an engineer. Oh, the engineer was behind a tree. Oh, Legend might still pull this off, actually. Right side, he's gonna try to weasel that. He does. He runs over the initiate and gets it. Okay, hey, Legend, predictable. Yes, Marco knew it was coming. You still got it. So that's tremendous value. Legend grabbing that oil, very, very nice.
Yeah, it's actually very good there.
So annoying. Now he could build a barracks up there. Like small map like this, that adds a wacky condition to like the map that now Legend is on his side.
Yeah, Marco's up to something here. By the way, this is one of those builds. I feel like he's going to put a grinder down and probably grind his own MCV, get as much value or
Oh,
money as he possibly can here, and then push in. He only has one miner, so that's what puts me to this right here. So he's playing off this one miner by itself. This is like the Yuri
yep.
push. This is like the ultimate Yuri tactic, right?
Grinds the MCV. The Yuri Prime is out and early, and now we did see the virus to deal with the Desolators. We saw this exact push from Marco in his game versus Quas to get here. He did this on this map and got a win. So the virus to counter the Desolators. Virus doesn't have tremendous range. Is the virus worse than a sniper in terms of range? It must be, right?
I think so. I think it's. Well, I'm not too sure
It
actually.
certainly
But
should be. Why did they get their own sniper? It makes no sense. With an AoE.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Oh, and
Drone
Max,
does get countered.
and I
Nice.
love right now the stakes are perfectly set. This is what I have. If you can counter it, you win. If you can't counter it, you lose. That mastermind is droned though.
Yeah, Marco goes in and just sacrifices the mastermind there. I think he wanted to micro a little bit better there. Didn't get what he wanted.
Once he got it droned, yeah, it wasn't much. Yeah. Okay, so the Max trying to take out the bunker, and okay.
Snipe. Boom,
Nice.
headshot.
All right.
Yeah, Legend doing an excellent job here. Honestly, that push, I mean, for what it's worth, if you guys see it from like observer's perspective, this push looks so weak, right? It's very little units and stuff, but it's so hard to defend against that push, against the disc and these masterminds, the gats, the mags, and everything. Legend's doing a fantastic job just holding it down here, and he's building as he's doing it, right? He has an IC now. Marco's on a ticking time bomb here. He has like a minute left before Legend just takes over this game and the game ends.
Yeah, Marco gonna need to find some more value in it, and this bundle is so scary too because as soon as they get close to your base, the Yuri Prime can take over your MCV. So he needs to pay a lot of respect here, and I love. I mean, Marco, the way Marco is just tiptoeing on this radiation. As I say that, the Yuri Prime goes down, and things, not looking good. So Marco gonna grabs a couple Desolator. Now gonna march him in. Let's see if he's microing the bunker. He's shooting the ground with the bunker so that the Desolators will not get shot. See that there? Legend control shooting the ground, try to protect so he doesn't shoot his own Desolators. He's going to try to now drone hit the mastermind. That's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Yeah, Marco he got no value whatsoever the entire game with that push.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue he could have done this, could have done that, gone to the right side, pushed the gems, tried to do a little something, but yeah, Legend, fantastic job, good hold there.
All right, so Marco, match point now if Legend can win his Yuri here. So Marco needs to get a Soviet win here. He does open up the opens up conscripts. Builds a sentry gun to counter that brute, which is quite interesting. Sells the sentry gun now.
Yeah, he's committing to these connies. We saw Legend last game. He built a couple of them. Marco's army a little bit bigger here, but also Legend. Look how many initiates he ended up having. He's definitely not wanting to get pushed here.
Dogs on the top side feasting on. That was so weird that dog was able to. Okay. Anyway, the dog just ate like 12 slaves, which is so weird. There's a gun on the slave miner. Okay. Conscripts, and now bunker right there with the Gats. Conscripts now going to have to adjust. Radar out now for Marco. I'm just kidding, Bike Rush. You come next year, Bike Rush, you're going to be in the World Cup, buddy. We believe in you. We need you, Bike Rush. Come take down whoever wins this. All right. The conscripts, I love the conscripts just marching around, looking for a way to, like, they get deterred so easily, you know? Like, they're like, one bunker, can't go that way.
Yeah.
Can they go at the mag? Oh, they can go at a mag. God, they love that.
Yep. Found a juicy mag there, pushing in the backside of Legend's base. Legend not microing his initiates well enough here. He has a bunch of them by the miner there. He definitely needs them. He needs them back at home.
Initiates go AFK. Legend instead decides to defend with his slave miner. Marco happy to grab a power plant here. Slave miner countering actually pretty nicely. Running with the conscripts, running away from the slave miner. Power plant goes down. Rhinos one by one headed into and that gat goes down right before, and the bunker walls rose anyway, which is kind of funny.
Wait, that's glitch there.
Yeah, that's weird. It was,
yeah.
Man, that guy was like 1 second before the wall would have been in front of his face. He takes a Rhino shell straight to the dome. MCV going down. And man, it's Ed. What do we got going on? Ed's in the booth. Beautiful day. World Cup. Amazing games, and we're burning barns. Match point. Wow. All right, boys. We're living it here in the World Cup. Yuri's Revenge Finals. Best players in the world going at it for the cash prize. We're burning barns. It's 3-3. Nice back and forth so far. It all comes down to this. A quick reminder, guys. RedAlert2.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. You can learn how to download and play the game. We have events each month. Regardless of your skill level, we have events for new and returning players. You should come play. It's free, it's easy, it's awesome. You can join the Discord. I have a Discord where you can connect with the community, talk about your issues. Another hype tank. You guys are on it in the chat. And of course, you can check out all the other things that you guys probably don't care about. I have Red Alert 2 merchandise. I have a Red Alert 2 comic book I made. Yuri and Tanya Fall in Love. It's a great Christmas gift for that Red Alert 2 lover in your life. So RedAlert2.com, again, tattoo it on your forehead, get some stickers, tell your friends, tell your family. All right, so Tiburon, I always say this name wrong. So this was the final map. This was our 7th-point map, and this is the only one in the series, of course, where they're picking their own factions. Both players go Soviet. Now, the reason I picked this map is because it's not a Soviet map, Ed. Like, Allied is so viable on this map, and I wanted them to kind of be pressured a little bit, and yet they both default to Soviet. What do we know about this map, SVS, Ed? I mean, certainly we're talking about a marathon and not a sprint here.
Yeah, it's a big map, and typically you see these players just play it very slow. 2 War Factory opening already for Legend. You're going to see a lot of miners coming out of their War Factories. There's no real threat of a rush, right? Like, even if you try to rush, you can still go 2 miners, and by the time they get to you, you'll have a tank to counter it. So yeah, big map. 2 War Factories for each player, already basically sitting back and already going to just build up macro.
Yeah, and this one, yeah, it's just, you can just get into these long, I mean, there's so much MCV places to go, and I mean, it's a fun map, but again, I mean, the only reason I have this weird tone in my voice is just because Allied is so viable on it. I guess I don't know. I mean, Yuri's certainly viable on it as well, a big map like this where Yuri can get established, but anyway, both these guys going SVS. It's kind of fun to see all the wacky stuff we've seen today. It all boils down to their ability to play their game in the form that they know best. SVS here. And yeah, I mean, and the big thing with a big map that is important to keep in mind is that the defender advantage increases the larger the map is. So, you know, your reinforcements are going to take that much longer to get there. Sentry guns are going to get that much more value. And it's just a big defender advantage. And that's why both these guys are going to be building miners till the world ends.
Ooh.
Okay, now Rhino's out. All right. Did that drone
That's
get
amazing. Yeah, Legend did land a drone on Marco earlier on, forces a depot, and Marco right now, it's Yuri's Revenge. Keep in mind, 1 shot from the miners kills a drone, and that drone jumped in front of 2 miners. He said, no, who cares? Does force a depot from Legend, slows his build a little bit as well. 3 War Factories for each player, and I like where Marco's at already. Look at his stretch; he's already on the next ore patch there. Whereas Legend still needs maybe a building or 2 to get to that top side ore.
Yeah, and there's a lot to stretch to on this game. I mean, Legend gonna go for Legend gonna go for an MCV move here. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different ways to play this one as the game progresses. We'll see players kind of maybe even try to get towards the center. Naval is viable in some cases. Oh, and Legend coming in Marco's face. He's gonna take a big bite into his side of the map. Okay. And I forget we have the unit counter. Legend did get over to tanks a little bit earlier, and maybe that was why. You know, he planned to move the MCV a little bit into Marco's face. Marco moving his MCV up to the top left.
Yeah, Legend sitting on 7 miners. Is that what we're seeing here? And Marco on 9 miners. So you can see why he has a couple more tanks here. He does have the extra. Oh, he had the extra War Factory, but Marco having the extra miners there, he's going to be able to pump out more War Factories, which obviously means more tanks. So he'll recover easily here.
Yeah, but if you watching these specs early on there was that while where Marco was up 2 miners, and Legend really didn't have much compensation for it. I mean, you see a couple extra rhinos on the field, but if he's not attacking, when you kind of take a close look at the specs right now, I mean, certainly what they're doing, both players sitting back, sharpening their axes. And I think Marco he's got the extra War Factory, about to even out the rhino numbers, did have a miner for a while. So Marco, just slightly ahead, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, just slightly. He is sitting on that 7K, or was just for a second there. Legend also on 5K, comfortable eco for both players. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of sitting back and building up. And I think it's partly due because of what you said, right? Like, you push into his base, by the time you get to, whoa, Legend, as I say this, sneaks in, catches Marco sleeping for a second there. What is he going to get out of this? Is he going to sacrifice these? He's gonna go straight for the War Factory.
Yeah, and he has a bottom side as well. So Legend, I like this from Legend, not because I think it's a great idea, but because sitting back against Marco, I think is a bad idea. And on a map like this, it obviously begs it. I think Marco is so comfortable doing it, and I like the idea of Legend. I like the idea of Legend trying to make something happen here. Again, now 3 different sections on this map. Marco trying to destroy that bridge. He's getting that weird thing. Sometimes bridges destroy really easy. Sometimes they don't. We'd have to have Snark explain why, but he is going to destroy that bridge. Good idea.
And seeing Legend, he's been kind of proactive the entire series, right? He's always kind of been the one that pushes forward. Since the first game, he was the one as Allieds pushing toward Marco. The next game as Soviet, still pushing toward Marco. And like every game, he's like the one pushing toward Marco. And I like that. I mean, Marco really just composed, sitting back. He's just playing that defender's advantage at this point, right? Like it's such a big thing here. But anyways, as I say this, Marco's now deciding, hey, you know what? I have enough war factories. I have enough tanks. Let me start pushing forward toward you. Inching his way toward Legend's expansion here on the right side. A bunch of dogs from Legend, like, forcing him to go broke here, but he is getting the fodder number.
Yeah, Legend does put himself broke for some crucial moments there. Look at those stats right now, guys. 39 to 38 tanks, 6 for 6 war factories. Marco still with a couple minor advantage, though. And yeah, you'll see that convert to a better position into the mid game here as Legend does put himself broke. Marco with a little bit more money in the bank. Oh, big engagement bottom side. Legend's pretty comfortable here on the bottom side. Marco goes in on the top side, and the chaos begins, boys.
Marco out tanking on the top side. Legend kind of out tanking on the bottom side. He even has the fodder number. Yeah, it's gonna be it's like a base trade basically. This is like a full base trade.
This is. And Marco cleaning up war factories right now. Legend has his main base down bottom right. Legend's army now uncontested. Bottom side, is Marco over to drones? Legend's for sure over to drones. Marco continuing to hunt here. Legend pumping drones, but both players. Legend's gonna pull his army back. Does he have the time for this? Oh, I don't think he has the time for this. Oh, and
he's
Marco
getting droned on the back end of that too. Both players getting droned, but Marco has the most value out of this. Killed all of the war factories from Legend here.
Yeah, and Legend comes back and does save the MCV, but oof, and just absolutely wrecked. And that's one of those ones, a lot of times if you go watch that replay, a lot of players will say, why didn't Marco take the MCV? Why didn't he take the MCV? The point is, you cut out... and there you go. Yeah, you cut off a player's legs, you know, and then once he's on his knees, you can cut his head off. MCV goes down as well from Marco, and...
Yeah, I mean, Legend has, how many tanks does he have? 13 tanks to play with, and that is it. No War Factory, no MCV. This is what he has here.
And these drones. And when you're making your final push, the one thing you don't want to see is a big batch of drones. All Marco has to do is hold the line. And Marco has war factories everywhere, too. He's still so spread out. So... man, those kind of base trade, those kind of equations, and I know you've talked about that before, just being like one of the toughest things to try to analyze and determine and know what you want to do. And tough position. I mean, going into it for both players could have found some value, certainly, but those are tough positions.
Yeah, that's a very tough one there. Legend I mean, what can you do against that, right? He had both groups on the top side and bottom side pretty even for a little bit, and then just out of nowhere, it felt like Marco's tank numbers on the top side just doubled Legend's on the top side, and he was able to just get so much value out of that push.
Yeah, and Legend maybe could have got on drones a little bit earlier, but Marco also had I feel like Marco's base was also more spread out, which worked in his favor there. But Marco also in those kind of base trade positions, I think he does a great job of like really like waypointing his tanks, clicking down the buildings that matter. And I love Legend using these miners to try to thin out the drones. Actually doing a pretty good job countering those drones. He's got his 3 tanks on the top side getting value while he dares Marco to come at him on the bottom side. I'm not sure why Marco's not daring to go at him, because maybe Marco just feels like, fuck it, as long as I save the MCV, I'm fine here. Amputates this top expansion. I mean, Legend has a war factory. I don't think he's got 10K in the bank. Is he building?
Oh, he does have a war factory. I didn't see that war factory, huh? I thought Marco had taken all of the war factories down.
I missed it right away too, but even with it, it's like he's not. Yeah. I mean,
he's still fighting against 3 war factories, and Marco's still on 3K here, so. Yeah. His window is closing, though.
Well, Legend, what is What is Marco doing right now, I wonder? Just knows he can, yeah, knows it doesn't want to push. He's got the tanks, though. He's got plenty of tanks here. Okay.
Yeah, he's playing it safe here, trying to get as many tanks as he possibly can, just to get that, secure that win. You never want to throw, right? Like, you know, like, oh my God, yeah, Marco had it. He just engaged. He should have just sat there and held. But you know, like, this is what he's doing. He's doing what we would have said not to do.
Yeah, if he would have been in the open, if he was in the open field right now, I'd be like, why doesn't he pull back? Now he's like, was sitting back. I'm like, what's he doing? He's doing what you would tell him to do if he wasn't doing it.
Yeah. And you can see how close this tank fight is. Just imagine if he would have gone a little bit sooner there. It does have reinforcements there sitting by the war factory. Giving us the illusion that Legend had a chance there, but nope, not.
Yeah, Legend had that little backside group of drones he tried to sneak in. Man, both players fighting tooth and nail, and for it to all come down to a pretty wild base trade there in the finals. Holy shit. What a series.
Well played, both players. Nice. Congratulations to Marco taking that one home. This is it, man. This is a S-class top tier 3-3 down to the wire base trade, tank for tank. I mean, what else can you ask for, right?
It's literally, I mean, this is literally the whole reason I stream is games like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up our 2023 Red Alert 2 World Cup tournament. Again, this was split up into 3 different game modes. Big shout out to all 3 of our winners. Marco, the final boss, taking it home in Yuri's Revenge. Kian, the Octo Kid, winning in Blitz. And Quas, the Death Robot, taking it home in regular Red Alert 2. Big shout out to all the sponsors, all the fans, all the players, all the map makers, everyone who keeps things rolling around here. And as always, guys, if you're enjoying this content, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff is free for you. It helps me immensely. I truly appreciate it. Slowly but surely, guys, RA2 is going to be getting to the moon. I got a feeling 2024 is our year, boys.